am here with my brother Bernardo Steinberg, physical educator for over 20 years, right? In Brazil, you have to have a degree, right? A college
Yes.
degree to be able to be a personal trainer there. So we've been 20 plus years in teaching and educating people. And you are one of our master trainers, our TACFIT worldwide master trainers. There's only 6, right? And so very, very proud you being Brazilian and you being one of them. And as far as Scott Sonnen's work, like I always learn so much when I talk to you. So thank you, brother. Thank you for being here. You're gonna be teaching our Clubbell certification, right?
Yeah.
This weekend, and it's always great to hang out with you, brother.
I'm excited for the weekend. I'm very happy to be here with you again, have this chance to conversate, talk a little bit more. And I feel honored to be part of this team. I work hard for it.
Yeah.
I worked hard for it, and I still work. And I really love this community, what we share, the kind of information and content that we share. So it's always a pleasure to me to be here with all the team.
Yeah, same here. I always tell people like we met one exit away from Canada, right, back in the day.
Yeah, in Bellingham.
In Bellingham, where Scott Sonnen is from.
Yes.
And I see these guys speaking Portuguese. And then I noticed too, you guys had an accent from like Minas Gerais, the Belo Horizonte
It was very
state,
funny.
And I'm like, it's interesting, And then one thing, right? We met and like, oh yeah, we're from Belo Horizonte,
From Belo Horizonte, you trained
Out of all
there.
the places,
it was crazy.
Yeah. And
Synchronicity.
You knew Sururu too. You used to train with him back when
he
you were a
was
kid.
my first instructor,
That's
jiu-jitsu instructor.
Yeah.
At the time, it was like 99 or 2000. I started to do a little bit of jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was like a purple belt or something like that with big hair. It was
That's funny.
very
That's
fun to have all this, all this happening at the same time.
Right. And then we randomly meet in Washington State, right?
Washington State, closer to Canada.
Yeah. It's crazy. And here we are. Here we are in LA, Los Angeles, doing certifications, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's been
Once
a lot
again,
of fun. Once again.
This is the second time
Yeah.
Fantastic opportunity.
Could you give a quick rundown of how you got involved with, into TACFIT, and you met Scott and Clubbells because and then we talked a little bit about
I
that
was
stuff.
when I started physical education, I was looking for improving my self-image, my confidence, and I started to train bodybuilding style of strength training. In Brazil we call it musculação, like something like muscle action.
Yeah.
You don't have like a strength and conditioning, but more turned to bodybuilding approach. So I started to do that, and I started to feel better. But I always had a background on martial arts and sports, so it was like a different approach to training. It was more like about statics than functions. So I was glad at a point, but I think you never get satisfied with the results with like this kind of approach. You always want more, to get bigger, and you start to do not pay attention to the functions you may have, but only for the look, So I started to feel like after 10 years doing this kind of training, or 12 years, I started to notice my health coming like weaker, Weaker. Yes, my immune system, I was getting sick every time. I was spending a lot of money with supplements, heavy supplements.
I remember back in the day, I was all about the supplements, right?
Yeah, a lot of supplements, a lot of pills to enhance the performance of the strength training, to enhance hypertrophy. But my stomach was not good at the time, and I see myself like decaying instead of growing, improving. So I decided to put this kind of work away a little bit. And it was like very crazy at one point, because it was not like today, everybody discussing mobility, functional training, and movement. So I started to do a lot of crazy stuff, hybrid movements, too much complexity, you know, without
You
progression.
know what you're doing, yeah.
Yeah. So at this time, we didn't have
But
kettlebells.
you knew
in
there was
Brazil.
there was other ways, right?
Yeah, but I started
you're trying to figure out the other ways
figure
to
out,
train, yeah.
yes, some
Because
calisthenics.
it wasn't right what you were doing. You were getting stiffer.
Stiffer, feeling pains,
Yeah.
you know, more than muscle soreness. It was like constant pain on the lower back. My first injury on the back, on the lower back, was doing like Smith machine heavy squats. You know, you can't like have room to move the
how
bar.
common, you being a trainer for over 20 years, how common is that you see in the industry, like training, you know, industry?
I think
To have
we have
guys
like a
overtraining.
surge of new ways of thinking right now.
Yeah.
But it's still very popular and strong, this mindset of constructing the physic, the aesthetics. You know, I think this is very strong. And I don't think it's bad to do that. Everybody wants to feel better about their own image. And I think it's good to work on that. But I think it's a problem when you put that in like the only thing that
yeah.
matters. You know, my health doesn't matter as long as I get ripped and like six packs and big.
It changes, right, when you're 20 years old to then when you're 40 years old, right?
Yes, a lot.
It's you don't realize it, right?
After you have many injuries, put yourself away from training due to that, you know, irresponsibility, you start to praise more your longevity, your quality of life with your family, because we need to work a lot. When you are younger, you can sacrifice some work, you know, to pursue your own personal goals. And
So
you
how
need
do,
to balance that.
how do you convince these young guys to train the right way?
Sometimes they need
have to
time.
fail?
They need their own time, because it's not something like a older guy could not be doing bodybuilding because he's not mature. And, you know, it's like everyone has its own time and its own perspective. You know, some people like 50 years, 60 years still want to be like bodybuilders, to inject like steroids to get bigger. So it's not a matter of age, you know, it's a matter of culture itself and the medium you're living in, you're working, you know. I think I switch a lot of
Your surrounding, you're saying?
my
The medium,
surrounding.
yeah.
Yes, the medium is like the surroundings, your friendships, the media
circle.
you consume, you know, you start to absorb that, and without diligence and observation, you start to be like that without thinking, you know. I think it's more like that. You want to be accepted, you want to be loved, to feel like someone is have desire towards you, you know. Everybody think you're pretty, you're strong. So this motivates a lot of people to do harm to themselves, you know. And I started to notice that. I tried to break the cycle. I started like, I sacrificed my muscle mass, some of it, you know, because I still feel like strong. I feel like I have muscle mass enough for what I need. So the muscles entering my way, I took them out so I could be leaner, faster, even stronger than I was, you know, much stronger, more mobile. I could have some time to learn the skills I want to learn, you know, because to learn new skills, you need to commit some time to it.
Yeah. Feel better. Yeah. So you were saying you started to search for, you know, different types of training.
Yes.
And then you came across kettlebells first, right?
I was not used to invest my money into education at this point. I was investing more in supplements and clothes, you know, like the majority of people do. But when I figured out that was like a surge of new information coming, especially from United States, I decided I need to invest more on that, on my education. So Celina, it was very helpful to that because she was already doing some courses, some certifications on kettlebell, on functional training, and I was still stuck on regular strength training.
Yeah.
So I decided to do some courses, some certifications, and everything makes sense from now on. You know, I did, the first course I did was with the Steve Cotter kettlebell.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. He was very important in my process. You know, he was the first guy that to come to Brazil, teach there, It was very big certification, and it was like in 2013 or 12 or something like that.
Oh wow.
And I was already watching his videos and Scott video on the internet. But Scott was even more like underground than the kettlebell was, you know, because there was movements, there were club bells being applied. So I was like paying attention, looking many stuff like Pavel, like strong first and kettlebells, some functional movements, you know. So everything started from there. And then I produced my first clubbell. I did myself, you know, so I could train a little bit. It was very small and not so functional, you know, but I started to practice. And since then, I never stopped to study and to engage with other groups, you know, to keep improving not only the body, but the mind as well.
Yeah, yeah. You've been in the fitness industry now for many, many years, been a trainer for over 20 years, right? 20 years. Why should somebody train with a club bell? Why should somebody pick up a club bell and train with a club bell?
Well, at first, the club bell was like very cool to me, you know? Like when I saw Scott doing the meal, it was very different, but also it looks natural because I always praised martial arts. I always practiced martial arts since my childhood. So it makes sense to me, you know? So it was not something like I thought this is crazy. This is not like, why he's doing that, you know? At the first moment I saw the club bell, I thought this might be very cool. The feeling of this pulling, the traction, you know? I almost got the feeling before I had the tool. So I was like desiring this tool to train, you know? So my first contact was with this clubbell. I designed myself. Oh, wow. It was not so good.
Made
the mechanics, yeah, it was not so good. And then I have the opportunity to meet with Scott in Chile. It was the first time in 2014. And I decided to keep on that track because I found that the club bells, not only the club bells, but the club bells deliver a lot of results because I think it's related to our DNA ancestry, you know, to ancient times, because you can see like
caveman days, holding a club.
Like cartoons. In all cartoons that you see a caveman, he's always with his club, his wooden club, you know.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's one of the most ancient tools that humans figure out how to use it, like leverage.
Yeah, we're designed, right?
You keep yourself away from an animal, from enemy. You have like a leverage advantage.
Yeah.
So I think this came before the fire. You know, it's much easier to grab a piece of wood than to create fire.
Yeah.
So this was the first tool, like coach used to say. You know, mechanical advantage, leverage. This was the first. And there are some researchers that connect this development of the finger, the big toe, with using the thumb, yes, the thumb with the use of clubs and tools, because other primates have big brains like us, but they don't have so much that much sophistication on their hands. So this allows us to have like a refined motor skill, you know, to deliver new tools, to communicate with the hands. So the human hands are very smart, and they can be connected. This smartness of our hands can be connected to this ancient past of manipulating tools like clubs.
How important is our hand for survival, our hands?
Yeah, it's very important, because if you like, if you can even communicate with your hands. People that are deaf,
sign language,
sign languages. So you can use movement to communicate. We use words mainly, but if you know the signs, you can communicate with signs using your hands, right? And and they
say the biggest part of communicating is body language, right? More so than even the words.
Yeah, and it occupies a bigger part of our brains, like the tongue.
Could you talk about the brain mapping? Those
brain mapping, yes.
Tongue and the hands. Could you?
Because so it's so sophisticated and delicate.
We have in our brain, we have a certain amount of like square footage. You know,
the area.
importance of the different parts of of the body. For example, like one finger has the same amount of space as like a leg, one of our whole legs.
Yes, the neural drive and the connection of neural network to the hands and to the tongues, because we can control a lot. So it demands a lot of connections and a lot of brain power as well, you know? So when you train your hand, your sophistication, like playing piano, like playing an instrument like a guitar, to control the hand, that amount of sophistication took a lot of brain power, computing.
Computing, yeah.
You know, it's a level of computing. But the clubbell will drive this kind of adaptation, not only sophisticating the grip, but also strengthening, which is very important for the heart. This is the second point. When you have strong grip, you have not only stronger mind, but you have stronger heart. Because people that tend to have cardiac disease, they tend to be like a
weaker
grip, you know? And this denotes longevity as well. They're like a new research coming with like just arrived with correlating strength grip with sexual power as well. This is highly debated today, you know, because even the steroids, people take too much, they break their hormonal cycle, the feedback cycle, and then they start to need to use other drugs to keep their sexual function. Because this is very important for humans to keep their health, their mental health as well.
Yeah.
So there was this study, pretty new, showing that guys that have stronger grip has also stronger, you know, erections. This is very important for human health as well, right? So it's like it's good for the brain,
right? Survival.
It's good for the head, right?
Yeah.
It's good for the brain.
You know, one of the things, just as a grappler and as a martial artist, right? Just the you talk about grip strength, like intelligent grip, like what it does for the hand, like, you know, because what does a grip mean? Like, depends how you're able to, you know, utilize all the strength in the hand, right?
Yes, the combination of
fingers and how you grip, what are you grabbing, right?
Yes.
And just that intelligence, that connection to the brain, to the body part.
Perfect analysis. Because the clubbell will give you many different inputs to strengthening like different aspects of the fingers and the palm of the hand, you know. The wrist stabilization is important as well. So it's not about smashing the grip, but it's an intelligent grip, selective grip,
Yeah,
you know, selective tension.
Yeah. Like, for example, a white belt will just over grip, right? And squeeze, grab the gi, grab whatever, just grab you like too hard, right?
Too hard, yes.
And so like the clubbell, for example, you learn how to grab the clubbell, how to move it, or else because people over grip the same way on the clubbell.
Yeah, exactly.
And they get exhausted and their elbows start to hurt, right? Just like you see in jiu-jitsu.
One thing especially for
they
jiu-jitsu.
Get that tennis and golfer's elbow without playing tennis or golf, right?
Yeah, exactly. But jiu-jitsu is, I think it's more like special to use clubbells, because I see many guys with like a lot of years. Yourself had that, like broken fingers all over. You have like, you're gonna shake somebody's hands, like the hand is soft, like sometimes broken.
Yeah.
They can't like
grip
because it's painful, you know.
Wrist,
you restrict
elbows,
a lot of
shoulders.
Calluses, you know, bone calluses. So when you start to developing again, you start to gain back your 6 degrees of freedom on your fingers, you know, because you can break your hands a lot doing grappling. You know, break a finger, torn your ligaments.
The overuse, misuse.
Overuse,
right?
misuse, exactly. Mechanisms of injury. It happens all the time with jiu-jitsu. So the clubbell will allow you to keep stronger and longer, and also recover what you already have lost. You know, doing some hybrid movements with ballistic and more like grinding exercises combined, you know. So you need to squeeze harder at some point, and some point you need to relax your hand just to translate the power from down up.
Do you remember my first certification in Bellingham?
Of course.
I couldn't put my hands on the ground.
The wrist restrictions on the hand.
Yeah.
This is due to fighting, MMA, sometimes
punching.
I
think we talked about misuse, disuse, whatever. you know, overuse, right? And so just overuse, whatever, just all those things. Like, you know, people talk about, you know, like grip, right? And so you have your flexion muscles like grabbing, but nobody's talking about like extensor muscles, right? So for example, me being able to grab the ground with my hand, so my hand's open. There's muscles for that, right?
Of course.
And so you're overusing all the flexion muscles. So you're like, I remember I used to sleep, like my hands would clench up while I was asleep, you know? And I kind of, as I started down my TACFIT journey, I remember just putting my hand against my leg at night, just so I couldn't close my hand. It would just do it automatically, right? And so just to kind of retrain things. And now, like I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't put my hand on the ground. I couldn't do a push-up, right? I'd have to go on my fist.
It was affecting your wrist as well. It was going
of course,
up,
yeah, the whole thing, right?
up.
The whole thing. But it started from just me being able to, my wrist hurt, everything. Just it's a one chain, right? All
chain.
Things, ligament, tendons, and all that stuff, nerves, right? So yeah, just training a balanced approach, right? Allowed things to start to come back online and reconnect, and little by little, right? I was now I'm doing quad hops and jumping on my hands, right? Like nothing.
And you know what? I remember perfectly this moment of this certification in Bellingham. But this was this was the same reason I started to training, because I believe not by like only faith, but by seeing results in myself. I started like in 1 year. I have gained a lot of. I recovered a lot of my degrees of freedom that I had lost with bodybuilding. I couldn't move my T-spine. I couldn't move anything. I already have collected many injuries due to overuse, misuse, doing bad techniques, with overweight, too much load on some squats, but without ankle mobility or hip mobility.
I don't want to go on a lot of different tangents, but I do want to ask you why quality matters on your technique. Why is it so important? Why do we focus so much on the quality of the technique, of the movement?
Yeah, because before you start training, you need to come to the practical mindset, to the mindset of practicing first, to understanding what you still lacks on your structure. Because training is programmed. You attempt a load, you test before, and then you program the training load over time, you know? So you pretend you already know what you need to be done. But when you practice, you're not paying that much attention to the load itself, more to the technical details, to the 7 key components,
right? But
of structure.
Why is it important for the brain? Why is it important for us to have good technique? Why does it matter?
Our lifestyle already took from us that, the structure, the mobility, the correct displacement of mobility
stress takes
and
us
strength.
out of it.
Yes.
Our lifestyles are sitting down too much,
we
right?
sit too much, like 8 hours. Most part of people feel pain on the lower back without a diagnostic, because people suffer just over specialization. They stay too long seated,
Or maybe their sport, right?
Even
they
though
spend too much time in the
like
sport.
I used to do bodybuilding style of training, like 1 hour per day, every day. But I was still unfit, I was not training mobility, ranges of motion. So my health was decaying because I was not providing what exactly my body needed, the human body needs. So the technique, coming back to the technique, it's like a blueprint on your mind, actually. You can provide details on how to perform efficiently an exercise. It's like a blueprint. You can go out from that. When you are doing like a heavy squat, sometimes you go away from the perfect.
Like maybe your knees go in.
Yeah, you need to have resilience and mobility to be able to handle errors. But the technique is like a blueprint for efficiency, mechanical efficiency. So we are dealing with joints. Joints like our mechanics, they have like a specific mechanic. So if you lose ability to extend your elbow, he's out of function, So you need to recover that. And when you train with integrated movements, like very complex movements, a lot of things are happening. Like a squat, you need to integrate the ranges of motion of all the joints in the lower body and some of the upper body. So it's you need first to pay attention to the details for then to overload. Otherwise, you're gonna injure in the mechanism of misuse.
Right.
You know.
So you're focusing on the technique. Also, like, you know, we talked about we didn't talk about it, but the 7 key components. We give different tools, right, to the, you know, to your clients, whatever, to learn, right? Okay, an elbow lock. You're talking about straightening out your elbow. Like, for example, for me, it took me like 6 months to be able to straighten my elbows out, right? From just overuse, whatever, from injuries to, I'm sure, right? From all the years of grappling and jiu-jitsu and arm bars and whatever else, you know,
pulling too
much. Yeah, so I couldn't straighten my elbow out, and it took me about 6 months, right, connecting my breath, and that's another thing of the technique, right? Like the technique. We learn how to breathe. We learn about the structure in the body, like we call elbow lock, right? Why do we do elbow lock? Because the elbow gets turned in. Then we engage our lats, and our lats is our back, and then we get our whole body.
You have full access to your power chamber.
Power chamber, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And if we lose that. Like we're not connected to our body. We can't utilize our full strength.
Your problem was more in the upper body. Mine was in the lower body. I have strained my ankles many times, so I have like very stiff ankle. Lost the gripping of the foot. You know, the stable base I didn't have anymore. So I injured my knees. I had bulging disc, herniated disc on the lower back. You know, I accumulated a lot of injuries during this time, like of not paying attention to the details, just smashing load, training a lot to create hypertrophy. So later I need to undo this, you know, this harm that I made to myself. Reconnecting the body, the breathing. It was very important to learn how to breathe to overcome the traumas of feeling pain, because when you feel chronic pain, you start to avoid movement in the region that you need to access.
Right. It's funny because the intuition.
So the breathing gives you the access of the movement again.
Exactly.
You know, so overcome the trauma, and without trauma, you can go back to normal and be able to express yourself through movement to all the ranges of motion that you can, you know. So you can have levels of compensation, like stiff neck. You stay working a lot. This you can fix very easily. You can even do soft tissue massage yourself. You can massage yourself. You can do soft movements on open chain mobility. You know, but when you have like a very old injury, with trauma, with a lot of pain, like the lower back, you need like more help. You need to work more. You know, you need more time to undo this harm.
Yeah. You talked about 6 degrees of freedom, right? Could you explain that? Right, we talk about, you know, like you have your twisting, and people they don't understand what is 6 degrees of freedom mean? Like being able to move in all the directions. Could you?
Yeah, this is a more modern way to view movement. That the first person I saw connecting these dots and saying something like that was Scott Sono, because this is more aeronautics. They use this for ships to describe the movements of ships, or like a aircraft or something
Airplanes,
like that. You know, a boat, because you have like 3 degrees of translation, or moving forward, backward, sideways, or up and down. And you have 3 degrees of rotation that are mainly dismissed in regular strength training, you know, bidimensional movements, sagittal plane mainly. Like,
because life is movement, right?
Yeah, it's movement.
It's not just staying one spot, not moving.
Especially when you overuse machines, you start to lose your ability to control the body. You express strength and power, but guided through a machine, you know? So you start to lose not only the capability to move in that direction, other directions than what you train, but you lose the control itself, you know? It's not about the strength, but the control of the movement, motor control and range of motion. So when you incorporate the 3 degrees of translation with the rotation, now you have like a real human body to move in space, because we are not like a Playmobil or like a Lego, you know, the Lego toy. We are not like
Robots,
square like
yeah.
a robots. The organic movement connects all these ranges of motions from the joints in a broader way. So you can jump, you can flip, you can backflip, you can connect all the joints together to create this synergy, you know? So it's much more realistic in a sense for people that do sports like jiu-jitsu. You can
Movement.
Yeah.
Any sports that all sports have movement.
all
pretty much,
sports,
right?
all
So-
sports. Some sports are more specialized, like tennis. You move a lot of sideways. You know, the rules and the rules of engagement of each sport may brought you to a situation of more specialization or not so. You know, like swimming. Person like very specialized in crawl. It's very limited in ranges of motion. You don't move sideways, you don't bend too much, you know. So this becomes a problem for the practitioner of that sport, like triathlon, running. You may think like this sport is the most complex, complete ever. Like swimming, it's very complete. You train strength, endurance, all the muscles, kind of, because you don't move sideways, you don't feel gravity. No sport is complete, all right? So martial arts are very natural, very old, ancestral, like capoeira. You move a lot, you do flips, you do kicks, you know. Jiu-jitsu, you pull, you push, you roll. But none of it is complete, because some of it you don't walk, and walk is very important for humans.
Yeah.
So in a general sense, sport is a human creation. In nature,
I think
humans don't
being
do
aware,
sport.
understanding the movement patterns, right? So you don't get stuck in one, and be able to keep that mobility.
Yes,
keep
to evaluate yourself as well.
yeah.
Because you might be doing a sport that demands this specialization, but in your training, you can feed your body with that
Right.
to have a longer life in sport, to have more longevity. Otherwise, you're gonna break yourself.
Increase your performance, right?
Yes,
As well.
because this is, I think it's a mistake. People tend to overthink on the specialization during the training, sport specifics. But sometimes to keep a longer life as an athlete, you need to do quite the opposite, to feed what you're not feeding on your training, you know? So you can be more complete, rounded, and healthier. So some people try to, like, I am a baseball player. They try, in the context of functional training, try to overload the exact pattern with the same arm, creating even more attributes, which already they have. But sometimes they don't train even the other arm in the same pattern, you know? They don't throw with the left arm, or they don't do other patterns of movement. So in this way, you start to get more and more specialists,
Yeah.
and with the problems of a specialist.
Yeah, like our brain, right? It's good to brush your teeth, not with your right hand if you're right-handed, but with your left hand sometimes, right?
No.
Just to switch it up, right?
This is very
But
good for the brain. It's
right?
a challenge. You lose time, but you gain a lot with that. It's very good, this kind of challenges.
Yeah, yeah. You know, last time we spoke, I think last time we came, we were talking about the Bad 45, program from Scott Sana, and it's on sale, I think, this week.
I love this program.
On TACFIT.com. It's like a dumbbell program, but it's really the principles behind
body
it, right?
weight.
Body weights and club dumbbells.
You have like
which is common,
the
right?
program is based on only 9 exercises of dumbbell and 9 exercises of body weight. But the magic, it's not about the exercise by itself. It's the combination and the programming. You know, you have like 5 levels of programming. You have the first one for beginners that are coming back from injury, or they are without doing exercise. So you have like a different compression of intensities in this programming, you know? So you have like the last programming, it's the refined. It's called refined. You have 3 sessions of 20 minutes per day. It's based on a basic HIIT protocol, 30-30. So you have the metrics. You keep repeating those exercises in different combinations. Like you have bridge press, you have rows, reverse row, bent over row. You have military press. You have push press, snatch, clean and press. Just the basics, lunge, squat. So you combine that with other body weight exercises like climbers, sit-throughs, burpees, and you have a very good system to develop your hypertrophy as well. This program is good for those who want to develop a little more hypertrophy because it's focused on basic movements, right? And the metabolic pathway is very good for hypertrophy. If you're eating well correctly, you probably will get a few pounds of muscle with that program. I have done like 3 times in different compressions. I did the strength, I did the mass, and I tried the refined. It's very tough because you do all the training like in 1 month because you do 3 sessions a day. So in the end of the month, you have like 90 trainings of 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very, very tough, but it can be very adapted for beginners because you can adapt the load of the dumbbells. You can adapt the speed, the rhythm you will apply on the exercises. So it's very cool. I used like 20 years, 10 to 12 years working with this bodybuilding approach, and I have very good results doing this program.
About 45, 20
yes.
favorite ones.
Yeah, it's more simple. Like for people that come from other backgrounds, it will be easier to digest and to understand TACFIT through that because all the principles are embedded. We have a progressive yoga session. You have 2 follow-along programs of mobility and compensation that's got nicknamed progressive yoga because we use some yoga movements, but in a different approach. You progress step by step on those movements to avoid the injury, because some yoga poses can be very tough as well on the joints. So it's a very complete program by itself. And you can invest a lot of time on it. You can train for a whole year, I think, and still develop with it.
Just do what it says, right? You don't have to worry about how much brain has and thought has been put into all the programming, right?
Yeah, I think this is a genius part of Scott because in the first moment, people don't want to pay attention and to learn all these details, to control all the aspects. But later on, you can if you want, because coach provided that for this person that have no time, no time to lose. It's a businessman. It's like fully busy, have family. He just wants to have a smart training, very like qualitative and fast to deploy. You can do whatever you want. But for people like us that are nerds and like to develop other skills with TACFIT, you can research more, find PDFs, find content to study, and to start to manipulate those variables as well. Variables as well. Because when you do training like that, just follow. You're just following the system. When you learn all the aspects of the system, you can break a little bit the rules and start to create a little bit of room to adapt for yourself. You start to learn more and more how to adapt the system to yourself, like a computer.
Yeah.
When you don't know what to work with, how to play with the configurations, you need to use what you have on your hands. But a guy that is specialist in computer can break all the laws inside of the system to optimize to itself,
So same thing with that, right?
Yeah, the same
understanding
thing.
the concepts, the principles, the technique, right?
You use the same hardware, but you can adapt the software to your needs.
To your needs, yeah. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. So I was just thinking about, we met in Bellingham, Washington State, almost in Canada. And then it was great. We became friends, and I was able to go down to the first TACFIT certification in Brazil. It was in Brasilia at
2016.
At Alamora's gym, right?
Yes.
And it was really, really cool. So it was the first one that you actually, because you were the pioneer, you and Alan, right? Were the pioneers to kind of learn the system, but then you guys brought it and spread it, right, in Brazil. Where are we at now? Because it's been, what, 2016, you said?
2016 was the first.
So 9 years ago, and now you're having a summit, not summit, meeting. You guys are calling
meeting,
it
yes.
TACFIT meeting, which is like a kind of a
It's
summit
kind of summit.
to come together, right? Because Brazil's a big country, so you have guys in the south of Brazil. You guys have guys all over the country, right?
Yeah, it was like I was so excited learning this stuff that I wanted naturally to share with my friends, especially. But I was working that in regular gyms, so I was doing like ape walks, ring exercises, clubbell. People were like with the eyes like this.
Yeah,
some were joking and making jokes, laughing at me. But a few people were like very interested. Some girls like Tati and Livia were the first instructors certified after me. So they come to me and ask, can I learn that? I want to learn. So I started 101. I didn't start with groups, so the groups start to be formed.
Private training first.
Yes, it started to spread, I impacted one or two, these two impacted the other five, and then the things started to spread. But with the first certification, we created a strong group. Some of these people are not with us anymore. They are doing their own stuff, natural in life.
Doing
But many other people
right
show up, So many people show up. We try to do at least one certification per year, sometimes 2 or 3, because we have this demand on Brazil. The country is huge and have many locations. Now we're gonna do the first course in Salvador. We're gonna have a Northeast. We have the FlowFit certification, and we're gonna have like the special guest, which is Nicola from Italy. It's a great friend of ours, and everybody is excited to be there to practice together and train together, learn new skills.
Nicola Orlando.
Nicola Orlando.
Yeah,
it's a very nice guy, very intelligent, and like a super athlete. Everybody like him, wanted to learn from him.
Is he coming for the summit and for the FlowFit certification?
Yeah, he will stay for the whole week.
The whole week, okay.
So we try to provide this kind of stuff for our community. Last year, we did one on, not last year, it was 2023. We did in Garopaba. It's on the south.
Yeah.
Closer to Florianopolis. And it was very, very nice. And we created stronger bonds of friendship and shared information, trained together. And this time will not be different. So I never tried to hold this to myself, because this is I see this as an advantage. Some people like to learn this kind of stuff and keep to themselves. Hold it. Mm-hmm. To change names, to copy and you call it another stuff else, and impress everybody. You can do that. People do that, But it was not my option. I as soon as I learned that with Scott, I wanted to recognize and also to share with my friends, because I don't like to keep things like secret, So I decided to teach whoever wants to learn with like a good purpose, we started to spread. Now it's not only me, we have many senior instructors, people that passed through the graduation like I did, and they are also connecting with other instructors in their regions of the country.
Are you surprised to see the growth of TACFIT around the world, like in Asia now, all over Europe? I mean, the whole world, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, I was like expecting, because I feel this should happen much earlier, this explosion of TACFIT. But we live in a society, I think, that people don't want to absorb everything. They just want fast results, don't want to learn the whole process. This is cool because Scott delivers that with TACFIT as well. But even this way, it's like it's so sophisticated, And I think the masses tend to go to what is more viral, to what is more like easy to digest, you know. And this is more profound. TACFIT is much more than a training system. You have like a whole philosophy behind, you know, how it came to be. So it's for everybody, but not everybody will appreciate the jewelry that is TACFIT, you know.
Yeah. Not right away, right?
Not right
until
away.
they feel it and
You
they
need
do
to
it.
feel it.
It's like jiu-jitsu, I think, too.
Yes.
Like you can watch it, but until you actually do it, like you don't really understand.
You know what? People that do martial arts recognize right away. But people that came from the background that I came, like bodybuilding, they tend to like, this will not give me muscle mass. This will not give the maximum hypertrophy I want, you know? So this is trash. So the mindset of the majority of the people, it's more this like mentality of the aesthetics that we were discussing before.
Mm-hmm.
So I put everything that was on my way to the side, because I was not like caring about getting so big anymore. But I think the majority of the people is the opposite. They just want what give them the volume, you know?
Don't you feel like things have shifted a lot in the last, especially like the last 10 years, like just on the wellness and mobility, just the whole mobility.
Yoga is very big today.
But just understanding the whole piece, you know, the holistic approach.
Yes. We
health
like,
first approach.
Internet and social media helped a lot unveiling this stuff as well.
Yeah.
Because most part of people like the fad, like what is like
people doing tripods, right? Like
hype.
those things, like maybe 20 years ago, people were like, what is this guy doing, right?
Yeah, now
but now you see guys in the NFL, like guys are doing like, this types of training.
Because it became a hype as well, this kind of training. Movement, ice bath, all of this that is good for health is becoming, it starts to become a hype. So most part of the people are starting to pay attention to this as well, you know? We see a big shift for sure. But
people
I think more is coming.
People are getting smarter,
Getting smarter, more information, more access to information, you know? Internet is very big on people's lives, and people are using to communicate, to learn more. So I think, yes, it's spreading much faster and much easier. But it's still something that, it doesn't touch everybody still, you know, because it's profound. It have a huge depth. So it's not like so easy to brand as something like easy to do, you know. It's hard because you need to commit, you need to train mobility. We don't skip mobility or compensation. So it's very rounded, very comprehensive work, but demands a lot of discipline, mental focus.
Yeah.
You will develop that with time.
Yeah.
But in the first moments, it's a very strong struggle with TACFIT, you know? In the beginning, you struggle a lot.
It's a learning curve, right? I think like jiu-jitsu, I relate everything to jiu-jitsu. I come back to that, but it's the same thing at the beginning. You just got to take your ego out, just show up, you know, just focus on learning.
Humble
don't worry about
yourself.
winning and losing or whatever, like in jiu-jitsu, but in TACFIT, don't worry about doing it wrong or whatever. Just do your best, right? Go light. Don't be trying to prove anything. Just
exactly
try to learn the technique.
That's why we need like very, very skilled instructors and well-graduated,
trained
instructors to deliver the system with fidelity.
Yeah.
Because you can go very crazy with this kind of stuff, protocols, time-based protocols, complex exercises.
Yeah.
If you don't know what to do, you can do a mess.
Rabbit hole down any which way, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. One of the things when I got involved in TACFIT was one of my favorite things back then and still now is the community, the TACFIT community around the world. Like you, just, you know, we see each other, hey, you know, Bernardo, like, you know, like long lost brothers, whatever. And we see guys from all over the world. They come in for the certifications, the big ones, especially, right? You know, reminds me of like jiu-jitsu tournaments, like the big ones where you see friends they haven't seen for a long time, or, you know, or at least a yearly, right? You see them there at those events. So yeah, it's one of my favorite things about TACFIT is the community. It's great when I go to if I go to the Brazil events, I see a lot of the trainers that have been around for a long time. I go to Europe. I haven't been to Europe for a while, but the same, What is the community, the TACFIT community mean to you?
I think this is really the most important part, because otherwise I would be alone training at my house. I actually do train at my house alone a lot, because I need my time to research. For me, I need focus. If I go to a gym now, I think like I get crazy. But always that I am with a crowd training, with a group, we have more energy. You have a boost of energy. And besides that, we don't have a competition on TACFIT. So this takes a lot of pressure. We can really be friendly towards each other in this group. Everybody, we have this kind of, for example, Nicole is a great reference for me in performance.
Yeah.
I am trying to pursue performances like him. I learn a lot with his training, his videos. So it's more about humbling yourself and trying to develop skills, not competing, like ego, trying to, I am the best, I am the strongest, We just try to share our experiences, our variations, what we could observe on our training, and put to the community to evaluate, to test themselves. So I think it's very light, very good group.
We talk about martial arts, right? And I keep going back, like I feel like it's a martial art, right? But you're not competing against anybody. You're competing with yourself, right?
I got that feeling with TACFIT as well. It's like a martial arts.
But you're competing only with yourself, right?
We don't have a belt system as well, but we even could have, because it's so like you could establish this kind of stuff, But we don't need. I think we don't need, but we could create like levels like our martial arts. But it's very martial art like TACFIT and the system, the CST, everything that because it takes time, You can't be good in jiu-jitsu in 1 day, 1 month. You need to devote time to humble yourself, to be beaten many times, to feel the struggle.
Go into stress, right?
Yes.
Be brave and, have courage and things. Same thing that you do in martial arts.
There is no shortcuts, because, for example, for bodybuilding, I'm tapping into that a lot. I have nothing against, right? I did myself a lot of time. But you can have shortcuts with steroids, with many other drugs and, performance drugs. But what we do, the skills, you can buy skills. You can buy hypertrophy.
You have to really learn the technique.
Yes. You can
big bodybuilding,
inject steroids, but still not crumble. Be able to do the sophisticated movements,
They crumble, yeah.
So it's like jiu-jitsu. You can have like a huge guy coming to the gym, like a bodybuilder with huge arms, and a small guy with good conditioning, good flexibility, and good skills can beat him up like 10 times in a row. So, people get crazy. When I don't do like the meal with 20 kilos anymore, because I don't want to injure myself. But I can do if I want. I do with 15 kilos,
45-pound club meals.
Yeah,
Bernardo.
but I try to put myself away from injuries, right? But it's very impressive. If you go to the street, like Instagram, they do this a lot. I pay you $100 if you do this.
Yeah.
I bet like none will be able to do a meal with heavy clubbell. Even the strongest.
Are we going to Venice doing a clubbell challenge? A new clubbell challenge
with Nestor? I saw that.
Are we gonna go?
Yeah, we can do that. You did one of those with Shanji, right?
Well, it was his idea.
It was his
for
idea
us to go with Nestor and Pedro.
Yeah, this is good to show how much we need to respect this kind of tool and training.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that you can pick up and do it so easily.
Yeah. Real quick, we're closing up here. Wanted to ask you, what can we expect from the TACFIT meeting? You had the one in Guadalajara. Now we're going to have the one in Salvador, Bahia. What can people expect from the TACFIT meeting there?
Definitely they can expect to sweat a lot because it's very hot there. And they can expect to struggle a lot.
That's where they have where Carnival was born, right?
In Brazil? The biggest carnival in Brazil is there, of course. In Brazil is Salvador, Rio de Janeiro, and that's it. So But the carnival it's on February, all right?
Right.
We're gonna pick up a very good weather there, very hot. Not so hot because it's just the beginning of summer. So what they can expect is to train and to practice a lot, to shake their body a lot, because Nicola loves to put some isometric and highly demand strength exercise. No, so people will feel a little bit of struggle, but it will be very nice. Of course, we're gonna have, besides the training, we're gonna have some other like meetings at night to have dinner, you know,
Social, yeah.
Yes, to make the social. I think it will be great as usual, because the last one we had was very good, and this one will be even special because we're gonna have Nicola here with us.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be awesome. For sure.
You will show up.
I hope so.
You try.
I hope so. We'll see. All right, brother. How can people find you?
Oh, they can find me on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel as well, but mainly I use Instagram.
Bernardo Steinberg.
Yeah, Bernardo Steinberg. And mainly on Instagram. Or I work in a gym in Belo Horizonte, Brazil. It's my town, Minas Gerais. I work in a gym called Body Heat, and I work mainly with personal training. I work basically with personal training today.
Yeah.
I love this.
And any TACFIT Brazil events, right?
Coming up. TACFIT, of course. TACFIT events for sure.
Awesome, brother. Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to be here.